All right, as I promised, here is a brand new DCU update. And boy, did a lot of stuff happen over the last 24 hours, and I'm pretty excited to talk about some of this. And this is probably the first positive thing I've seen come out of the announcements with the DCU thus far. We're going to look at a couple of things before I talk about those developments, and that has to do with casting for Creature Commandos. Now, if you haven't already, please like the video. It helps the algorithm here at YouTube, and it's really important when I put videos out that you like. And if you're inclined, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will be notified as I have all my videos go up. I cover stuff, the DC stuff. I'm covering all the Star Wars stuff. I'm going to be covering Indiana Jones coming up. And you guys are going to want to be subscribed so you don't miss any of the videos. I can only do 3 videos a day that they will promote. And if I do more than that, you might miss a video if you are not subscribed and have hit that notification bell. And you don't want to find out that you missed a video. And I do have to appreciate all the support I've received over the last month especially. I've gained almost 1,000 subscribers in the last month alone, which is the biggest growth I've seen on my channel since I started it a little over 2 years ago. And I do appreciate all the support, and there's going to be a lot of content coming up in the future. So let's dig in. So the first thing I wanted to show you here is nobody wants to work for Gunn's DCU. They are trying to get writers and directors, and it's not going too well. We already saw that James Gunn wanted to have Ben Affleck come in, and he said absolutely not. You know, he had that Variety article and said he will not, under any circumstance, do anything for the DCU under James Gunn. He has no interest in going in the direction that they're going. And now we have A24's Talk to Me director, Danny, I don't know how you say his name, Philippou, has revealed that he and his brother turned down DC Studios' offer to helm a new DCU project. Full quote and details are at thedirect.com. Now, I did not go to that article, but what this shows you is that these people, nobody wants to work for James Gunn's DCU, and there's a reason for that. This is the kind of stuff that, as a fan, makes me nervous going forward when you have talent who you're courting and they don't want to have anything to do with what you're doing. That's some crazy stuff. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you here is that HBO Max is actually getting a new relaunch. This was talked about long before even Zaslav took over, that he knew he was going to merge not just HBO Max or change it, he was going to merge it with Discovery Plus. And I own both apps. In fact, Discovery Plus has a ridiculous amount of real content on it that is awesome and totally worth the money. But they want to combine the two. They're still going to keep Discovery Plus as its own thing. And you can see that that's the bias with Zaslav, that he believes more in the Discovery brand than he does the HBO or the Warner Brothers side of it. But they're going to be relaunching, and there isn't a whole lot of information in this article, but they're just going to name it Max. So it says HBO Max announced its new name along with a host of slated content ahead of the service's upcoming rebrand. Per IGN, Warner Brothers Discovery is officially set to launch HBO Max as simply Max. The rebranded service will offer a combination of content from Disney Plus and HBO Max and will reportedly debut sometime in May or June. The service is also reported to have tiered options available to subscribers, with one mirroring HBO Max's current $16 per month model. While the revamped streaming service will continue to offer HBO Max titles such as House of the Dragon and The Last of Us, it will also introduce Discovery series including Fixer Upper and Property Brothers for fans of the latter's less scripted offerings. It was reported back in December 2022 that HBO Max was considering a name change as well as merging content within the Warner Brothers Discovery brand, with the possibility being reviewed by the company's legal team at the time. The news was followed a couple of months later by the decision for Discovery Plus to remain its own independent streaming service following the launch of HBO Max's successor. Then they go on to talk a little bit about, taking HBO to the Max. As long as they keep all of the content that they have currently on there and they add more content, I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with them taking some away or mixing both services. And the way this was originally branded was that the Discovery Plus would be a separate tab. Like if you go into Disney Plus, they have a tab for all the different things. They have a tab for Disney. They have a tab for, National Geographic, and that's the way Discovery was supposed to be under HBO Max. I don't see why they need to change the name to Max. I think that's just going to confuse people, and I think we're just going to end up seeing it changed in the future again. And I can tell you that HBO Max and just these streaming apps have gone through so many changes over the last 3 to 4 years, it's ridiculous. And so we'll see what happens. Now, if they combine the two and I have all of the content that's available on Discovery Plus, I will probably cancel Discovery Plus. We'll see. Hopefully, I'd like to keep them separate personally, and I'm hoping that HBO Max will give me a tier that just lets me do the HBO stuff without the Discovery Plus stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'd like to keep them separate myself, but we'll see what happens. All right, so that brings us to the last story. Let's look at the casting from James Gunn himself for the exclusive on the Creature Commandos. All of the casting was announced, and this is awesome. So they announced earlier today, we heard in one of my past videos that Frank Grillo was moving over to the DCU, and they announced today that he has been cast as Rick Flag Sr. across all media. And now James Gunn talked about this when he took over, and I think this is a brilliant idea, that whatever actors they get to play these characters, if it's animated, then they're going to play their same characters if it is live action, which I think is brilliant and something they absolutely should be doing. And Frank Grillo is going to be playing Rick Flag Sr. in the upcoming animated TV series. And then there was another update where it says, in addition to Grillo they're going to welcome David Harbour as Frankenstein, Indira Varma as the bride, and Alec Tudyk. I love Alan Tudyk. I met him in real life and got a picture with him not that long ago. I really like his comedy. He has a great show right now on the Sci-Fi Channel, which is awesome. And he's going to be playing Dr. Phosphorus. Mariah Bakalova is Iana Rostovic. And Sean Gunn, obviously, is going to be playing the Weasel. And Zoe Chow as Nina Mazursky. And Steve Agee returning as John Economos. So, returning. I'm not sure who that is. Let's find out who these people are. Steve. Okay. John from, the one who, him and his wife are getting plastered everywhere. That's who that is. So obviously he's going to be in this. He's got to have his two characters, and showing up in everything. There's that crazy casting. But if you don't know who Alan Tudyk is, this is Alan Tudyk. He's done a lot of stuff. He's all over the place. He played Wash in Firefly, so that's where I fell in love with this guy. He's a great actor, great comedic actor. So let's see who this character is. I'm not sure if I know who this is. Okay, I've seen her before. So she's going to be in there too. That's cool. Let's go back. And we know who Sean Gunn is. We know who Steve Agee is. And we know hopefully you know who Frank Grillo is. But let's look at the Collider and see if we have some information. So here are the characters that are going to be in it. So we already know Sean Gunn is going to play the Weasel. He did and it's going to be interesting to see with Suicide Squad how he kind of factors into that. And especially since his son was also in Suicide Squad. I'm wondering if this is taking place afterwards, because we did find out at the end of that movie that he did survive in the water. So we're going to see where this goes. Yeah. So there's the news for the day. Frank Grillo, he actually was disgruntled with Disney because he doesn't feel like his character was well done over there. I mean, his big movie was Winter Soldier, and then after that, they didn't really use him much. All right, so there's the DC news for the day. I do like the casting. I like these characters. I like the actors. I will be checking it out. I'm not really excited for the Creature Commandos show, but it is going to be DC, and it is part of the new universe, and I will definitely be checking it out when it hits HBO Max, and I will review it. And I'll be honest on my feelings about it. I don't know why that's the first project that they're doing. It doesn't make sense. I think it needs to be Superman, and they need to launch this. If they're going to make it right, they need to launch with their big guns and then kind of move into the more weird stuff as time goes on. But you can't start with it. I think that is a horrible mistake. But those are my two cents on the whole subject. You guys already know how I feel. I am a DC fan through and through, and I will be checking this stuff out regardless. It doesn't mean I'm going to like it, but I will review it, and I will be honest with my review. If it's bad, I'll say it's bad. If it's good, I'm going to say it's good. I can't tell you how many people come after me saying, you're just a Snyder shill, and I am certainly not. And anybody who's on my channel understands that, because I've talked about many other projects that were DC that were great that had nothing to do with Snyder. And it's not just about him, but I do have strong feelings about finishing his story and about the work that he's done. I do think that Batman versus Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League are some of the 3 greatest superhero films we have ever received. And I would like to see that story finished. But that doesn't mean that's the only thing I like. There are plenty of other things I liked. And you can go back and watch my Peacemaker review. I actually enjoyed Peacemaker to a degree. I thought it was disrespectful to a lot of the DC characters. It is a juvenile show. It's disgusting and not how I want my DC characters treated, but it was still an enjoyable show with more character development than I expected in it. So I will admit when something's good and when it's not. It's not my cup of tea, not what I would choose to watch, but it was still a decent show. All right, so there's my review, my recap for all the DC stuff for the day. Again, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. You will be notified as new videos go up.